Hello, Wardlow. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. Firstly, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. See, it's all out, and that's such a big pay per view for AEW. And actually, the first time we ever really saw you was in a package at All Out back in 2019. So, for you, like, what are your memories of that? Watching that and seeing people's first reaction to you.
And yeah, it's funny. I was just thinking about that the other day. It felt like it was just yesterday that
Mhm.
that video played at All Out. And I had to realize that that was 3 years ago now, which is, gosh, time has flown by. But it really does feel like yesterday. I mean, I remember that entire day so vividly.
Mhm.
Um, and just the whole evening and the day after, watching my followers
Yeah.
slowly climb up on social media and stuff as people started to discover me was such a crazy feeling. Still is, honestly. But um, yeah, that was a special moment. I kind of forgot about. Yeah, All Out's kind of special. It's kind of like my little anniversary.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny you mentioned the followers because I was talking to my friend about this yesterday that they played the package for you at All Out, and his first comment was, "I remember seeing his follower count jump in real time." Like,
Yeah, I remember my buddy kept texting me, "It's up to this. It's up to this."
but that must have been like an amazing feeling to know that like people were just excited about you, like literally just by looking at you.
Yeah, I mean, any impact I've had or anything I've done that's caused the fans to receive me more and more is always a special moment and feeling.
For you, at the early days of AW, we had the Young Bucks, Kenny, Cody, and of course Jericho. So there were these really big name people being brought into such a small company, and you didn't have a name at all. So what was that like for you? Was that in any way intimidating, or did you find it like kind of a good spot to be in?
No, that's exactly what I wanted.
Hmm.
I you know, I liked the challenge of not being known. Plus I wanted a fresh start. I wanted to jump on the scene and have everybody have to go, who is this guy? And rather be able to find out who he is, me show people who I
Hmm.
am. So I really enjoyed and liked the challenge of I'm a fresh face and it's good. I have nothing behind me. I have no steam coming into this. I have no backup. It's all me and what I do from here on out. So that challenge to make my name, me make my name on my own. Um, that's that I'm proud of.
Mhm. Absolutely. Can you tell us a bit like what your first meetings with Tony Khan were like and what you kind of pitched to each other about what you'd be doing?
So honestly, all of my interaction was mostly through Cody.
Yeah.
So my first initial conversation with anybody in the business was QT Marshall.
Mhm.
And I'll forever be thanking him till the day I die because he allowed me to come to his home, a complete stranger, and stay with him in Atlanta and give me the opportunity to train with him in front of Cody.
Mhm.
And that's how Cody and I met. And and it was kind of just me and Cody figuring things out and coming up with ideas and me expressing who I am as a person, as a wrestler, and how I want to be portrayed. Um, so I think, yeah, I mean, it was mostly Cody that I came up with all this with.
How long into your discussions with Cody and being brought in with MJF did the idea come up for you to have the steel cage match with Cody?
Oh wow, I don't know. I feel like that kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I feel like that was kind of just like we were pretty. I feel like we were close to it happening when they were like, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do." Wow, when I tell you the excitement I had was unbearable. I mean, when I found out that's what was happening, I mean, I just It took over everything in my body. There was no thought of anything else other than that match.
Mhm. Do you remember the feeling of that match going into it and like the anticipation and what it would be like?
Yeah, so it's God, one of the most unique days of my life. So I remember the whole day. I brought my mother,
Oh,
um,
that's lovely.
and I brought her the whole day so she could just come backstage and she spent the whole day with me. And I kind of wanted to give her that. It was such a special day for me, but I wanted to make it a special day for her. And so she was there, which was amazing. But I remember um, being so nervous before that match, just something I've never felt before. I get nervous before every match, but that obviously was a little different.
Yeah.
First time on TV, live TV, first match in AEW against the guy in a cage match, the company's first cage match. I mean, you couldn't have put any more pressure on me if you tried.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember it almost being like a blackout the entire match. I don't recall. It's unfortunate. I don't recall like walking out into the crowd that first time.
Yeah.
I was so focused. The only thing I vividly remember from the match is like when the bell first rang, and it was just me and Cody and the lights, and we kind of circled each other. Other than that, like I said, it's kind of just like a blackout. And afterwards, I was just like, "What just happened? Like, was that good? Was it bad? Was like?" But the reception I received backstage told me it was very good, so I was happy.
Do you remember the first person to speak to you when you came backstage or say anything?
Actually, Chris Jericho,
Uh-huh.
which really blew my mind. You know, because nobody knew of me really, and
Yeah.
Chris Jericho himself. And I remember I came back, and Chris Jericho was standing there waiting for me, and he shook. And him and I hadn't interacted much prior to this at all. And he shook my hand, and he said, "Man, I didn't think you could go like that." And he said, "You earned my respect tonight." Because it was like the biggest night of my life. My whole life has come down to this moment. My dreams finally coming true. And then to have a legend, somebody I watched my whole life, shake my hand and tell me I earned their respect. That was emotion that I could not explain in words. The feeling I felt was so overwhelming and beautiful. And I do actually, since we're on this topic, I have to shout out to Charlie because he was the one right before my match
Mhm.
that gave me a little pep talk and just reminded me who I am and what I do. And he actually calmed my nerves a lot before I walked out. And I'll always be appreciative of that.
So when we first saw you being brought in as MJF's heavy, for you, what is it like kind of being told that you were being in like a silent role? How did you kind of deal with that and think about kind of what you could do without really saying anything?
So, trust the process has been a big part of my career.
Yeah.
And it's something I wish other people would latch onto or comprehend because me, like everybody else in this business, has somewhat of an ego.
Yeah.
Um, Many people will tell you I don't have much of one. Either way, in my eyes, I know what I'm capable of. I knew what I was capable of. And of course, in my eyes, I'm like, oh, night one on TV, I should be coming out, killing everybody. I should be heavyweight champion right away. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so there's, of course, a small part of me that's like, let's strap the rocket to me day one. Let's go. Let's get this going. But when they told me the plans, I again was excited for the challenge, you know, and the role I was given is similar to a role that I grew up watching in Dave Batista. He
Yeah.
was put in a similar role. So that kind of excited me and gave me that extra motivation, you know, just like, all right, I'm going to start the way he did and I'm going to finish the way he did. I'm going to be at the top of the game when this is all said and done.
Mhm. Did you expect it to last as long as it did? Like be such a long story?
Oh God. Yeah, that was actually a an ongoing joke for a while. It's like Wardlow is so over this, but it was the pandemic kind of
Yeah.
threw a wrench in so many plans. So yeah, that was extended a little more than we had initially anticipated.
Yeah.
But realistically, all for the better because it worked out beautifully, and I wouldn't change a single thing.
Hmm. Did you like? How did you feel when like the first time you ever spoke and you'd see people online like, oh my God, Wardlow just spoke. Oh, that's Wardlow's voice. All of that happening.
Honestly, the biggest thing I saw when I first spoke was everybody was like, I thought he was from Britain. Or like I thought he would have like a British accent. I thought he was from the UK or something. I'm like, yeah, that I don't know where that ever came from, but that was all I could see is, oh, I thought he was going to have an accent. I thought he was going to have no. I for some reason people didn't think I was from America or something.
Yeah. So, as things went on, and then you ended up in the Pinnacle, and then we kind of got to the point where before you turned, you were paired up with Sean Spears, and you guys were actually pretty funny. Who came up with, or how did you come up with accountability?
Um, yeah, Max and his genius ideas. Um, yeah, that's all Max right there. But Spears, I'll have to say, working with him was such a fun experience. He has such a great mind for the business, and being paired up with Sean and FTR allowed me to grow much quicker than maybe I could have or should have, and much quicker than a lot of other people in the locker room because I'm just getting fed knowledge by three of the best. Uh, so everything with Spears was a lot of fun for me. I'm sure him and I'll cross paths down the road again.
So Revolution in February, that was like a huge night for you. Can you like take me through first what like that day was like, knowing that you had so much to do and it was just going to be such a big moment in your career?
Oh man, that was so special. I remember being in such a good, happy, positive mood that day. That we had, almost 3 years built up to that night, and I mean that's what the whole 3 year buildup was to. That's why Max and I got together was for this moment. Um, the ladder match has a special place in my heart. I grew up loving the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, Dudley Boys, the ladder matches, the TLC matches they had. I've jumped off plenty of ladders in my backyard.
Yeah.
So for that was my first like legit pay-per-view match. So for my first pay-per-view to be a ladder match and then for me to win said ladder match, it was just mind blowing. Still is. All this stuff I still have to remind myself is real life. And then to go on later that night and have my essentially my Batista thumbs down moment in
Yeah.
the form of setting down the ring and then turning away and walking up the ramp and hearing the crowd go absolutely crazy was the probably the single best feeling of my life.
You'd said there before about how the pandemic kind of extended things with you and Max. When you kind of realized that the moment it would happen would be during him feuding with CM Punk, how did that make it worth the wait, really?
Oh, everything, every single thing was worth the wait. And yes, CM Punk being involved obviously made it 10 times more sweet and meaningful. Yeah, I mean, to be involved with Punk in the match I had with him, um, again, that was I consider that one of the best nights of my life. My match with Punk. I mean, that did wonders for me.
Yeah.
And I'll forever thank him for that as well.
So the match you had at Double or Nothing with Max, and can you kind of like describe how that was for you, the feeling? Because being in the arena that night, and obviously there's a lot of talk beforehand, but the crowd like energy as soon as you guys came out and the match started was it really incredible to see.
Yeah, God, that should be considered one of the best nights of my life. And God, it really wasn't. Um, everything that was going on with Max at the time, and then in my life personally, it just nothing was going right.
Mhm.
And and it's kind of sad that everything built up to this big night, and there was so much that ruined it. Like Mac, all the crap with Max and everything he was pulling. I mean, I showed up that day not knowing if I was wrestling.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like that, there's a lot more I could say about it, but I don't want to get angry. But so yeah, that should have been one of the best nights of my life, and obviously the outcome was amazing. But I really didn't ever have the opportunity to enjoy it.
How like do you feel that's something you've kind of been able to put behind you a bit, like, or how has it been for you to kind of move on from that moment not being what you expected?
Um, God, you know what? I feel like ever since that night, things have kind of been just off.
Mhm.
And I feel like I'm still trying to get back on track ever since that night, and we'll get there. But
Mhm.
it is what it is. In life and in this business, not everything goes perfectly.
Yeah. Well, what was it like for you capturing the TNT Championship and having your first championship in AEW then?
Amazing. That moment, it's funny, you can actually go back and watch. I put the foot on the chest. I do my pin like I've done a million times, and the ref counts 1, 2, 3. It's like, okay, yep, another match won. And then you literally see the moment where it hits me that I go, I just won the title.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't just another match, that wasn't just another pin. And you see me go like, oh wow, like this just happened. That was obviously a very special moment. And it's funny. I talked CM Punk talked to me about this. It's like every match I have is the biggest moment of my life.
Mhm.
Since being in AEW, night one was the cage match against Cody Rhodes, biggest moment of my life. Then you're main eventing against Chris Jericho, next biggest moment. Then you're having a match with CM Punk, another big moment. Then you're winning the ladder match, an even bigger moment. Turning on Max, a bigger moment. Beating Max, getting signed to AEW, bigger moment. Winning the TNT title. I mean, it's like I'm so blessed to have all the opportunities that I've had in this company, and to be able to go out there every few months and have the biggest moment of my life is a beautiful thing. And guess what? We're not done. There's still bigger things for me to accomplish in the company.
For you, because like maybe like a weird question, but because you didn't like have a name coming in, and I think if you had gone with WWE, they would have put you in NXT, like that would have been your starting point, really. Like how do you feel about the way AEW do things? Like someone like you, or I know that you had a lot more experience than someone like Jade, but it's the same thing where you're like immediately put on like main TV, working with these big people. Do you think like that for you? Does that feel like a better way to learn than like starting small? Because as you just said, you did not start small at all with the stuff that you were doing.
Yeah, I think it depends who you are.
Mhm.
And that's truly all it comes down to. I think there are certain individuals that need years and years of TV training.
Mhm.
I was on the indies just because I wasn't well known. I was on the indies for years, training and working and learning these things. So even though I wasn't well known and I may not have been as experienced as most everyone else, I'm the type of person that I learn very quick and I learn on the job. And I always said, throw me, they threw me in the deep end with that cage match, and I did the backstroke with ease. Like, throw me in the deep end, I'm going to swim with the sharks. Like, so I'm the type of person that, yes, zero experience, throw me in there, let me do it. I'm going to learn quick and I'm going to make it happen. Not everybody's like that. Jade, like you said, she's somebody that, is picking up quick. She's somebody that you can throw in the deep end and she's going to swim. Not everybody can.
Mhm. So your match coming up at All Out, you're teaming with FTR. What for you is it going to be like being in the ring as their teammate again? And they're on such an incredible run and an incredible high right now within the company.
Yeah, really quick, just to touch on that last subject really quick. They are opening the Nightmare Factory, which
Yeah.
is going to be a great place for people starting in AEW to get that proper training. So it's nice that we have that system in effect now. But yes, FTR. Uh, I love FTR, as I expressed before. They've taught me so much. They have been there for me through so much, and they are the closest thing to like brothers that I've ever experienced. And I've said it before. If I had to pick one person, if I was about to get into a fight with five people and I had to pick one person to stand by me, it'd be Cash. That he is so about his boys, and if you're his friend, if you're his brother, he will do anything for you. He will fight for you. I mean, they're just they're just great human beings. And to have this little reunion is so exciting because anything I get to do with these guys, work with them in any capacity, it only betters me and makes me learn and makes me grow. And it's always fun. It is always fun when I'm with those guys, no matter what. So I am so excited for this weekend.
What do you think it is about them in recent months that have made them just like the most popular team, like not just in AEW, but all over?
It's the same reason the fans started cheering for me.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody forced them to. It just happened because, like myself, they are absolutely undeniable. It's when somebody's so good at what they do, so good at what they do, and then you go online and you see that they're also a genuinely good human being, very hard to root against that. It's very hard to hate that. You have to be a real piece of to hate that. So I think people just you take the fact that they're two of the best wrestlers in the world, and then you take the fact that you're starting to see their personality on social media, and you see that they're such a good person, and I mean, how can you not cheer?
Mm-hmm. You've also had some encounters in the ring with Satnam Singh, and you're a big guy, but he's a really, really big guy. So, what is that like for you not to be the biggest guy in the room?
All right, so I've fortunately I'm very confident. There's times I'm not the biggest guy in the room. I don't need to be the biggest guy in the room. I just need to be the only Wardlow in the room. Nobody can take away that. Um, he is not a man. He is a monster. He is a giant. Um, I will also say he is literally and figuratively my biggest fan. I mean, he shaves his beard just like me, cuts his hair just like me. I think he's a big Wardlow fan. But I said this the other week. Nobody is too big to be power bombed, and one way or another, I'll power bomb the monster.
And it was very exciting to hear on Dynamite that it will be Motor City Machine Guns that you're stepping in the ring with. How excited are you to see them in AEW?
Very excited. I've been a fan of theirs for many years. They're very impressive athletes and two people that I've never had the opportunity to work with. And again, two people that have been doing it so long, it is going to force me to up my game. It's going to force me to be better. And again, it's only going to make me grow. So I'm very excited to step in the ring with them.
And finally, you've accomplished so many amazing things, especially this year as well. With the couple of months that we have left, just what are your goals for the end of 2022, and what you'd like to do with the TNT Championship as well?
Yeah, obviously my focus is all out right now. I haven't really thought past that,
Mhm.
but thinking about it after all out, um, I told the fans I wanted to bring some respect back to the TNT title. I think just the fact that it's in my possession, the respect levels already up. The fact that Wardlow is the TNT championship makes the TNT championship important. But realistically, I haven't done anything to really say that I've done that. So I would like to, Jay Lethal, beating Jay Lethal, I think is a huge accomplishment. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. So that I feel is important. That I feel is an accomplishment. But beyond that, I haven't done anything since being TNT Tech champ. And I'm ready for some real competition. Like I'm not, yeah, I'll go in the ring, I'll power bomb somebody 10 times, put my foot on their chest and pin them. But guess what? I'll go in there and I'll work with whoever thinks they're the hardest worker. Step in the ring with me. I'm not just squash matches. I can perform, so I'm ready to show that.
Oh, well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me today, Wardlow.